What are you doing on Tuesday the 26th of September 2023? Because myself and Francesca Amber are coming to the Barbican Hall in London. Our event is called One Night Stand, and this one night event is all going to be about manifestation, crystal healing, and ridding your limiting beliefs to help you achieve your goals. We've curated an immersive experience that will leave you feeling inspired and empowered. Throughout the evening as well, we'll also have interactive exercises, we'll have empowering discussions, and the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals on a similar journey towards personal growth and manifestation. There'll even be an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. This event is your chance to break free from the shackles of self-doubt and unleash your inner greatness. It's time to release those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back and step into your true potential. And if you want to come on your own, by all means do that. Single tickets are available and seating is totally unreserved, so you can even meet up with your spiritual friends and sit with them as well. Head to @CannyCrystals on Instagram and click the link in my bio. Tickets are limited, so secure your spot and be part of this transformative experience. Don't miss out on the chance to manifest your dreams and achieve your goals. We can't wait to see you there. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. This week I've got another guest on the show. So this week I'm interviewing Faye Louise Hughes from Unlock Infinite Potential. And Faye is going to talk us all about positive psychology, how we can get the most out of positive interventions, and talk about everything to do with visualization, positivity, gratitude, and we're even going to talk about positive psychology. So Faye, welcome to the show.
Hello, I am so happy to be here. I'm actually so excited. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you as well. And can you just explain to everyone? So there is a little bit of a time delay. Hopefully I'll fix that in the editing, but Faye is actually based in Australia, but you are actually from the UK, aren't you, Faye?
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm actually from Chester and I moved here 4 years ago next month, which is absolutely crazy. And I'm living in Sydney. So I live beside the beach in Bondi. And yeah, it's absolutely unreal.
I'm so jealous. Is it your winter right now then? Or is it kind of in between seasons?
Yeah, no, we've just come out of winter. But to be honest, the weather's not that bad. It has been raining today, but we've got a sunny day on Sunday and it's about 20 degrees. So we'll be down at the beach. So it's not too bad.
I'm so jealous. It's 16 degrees and raining here. So, so Faye, would you mind just introducing yourself, talking a bit about what you do, that kind of thing, and tell us a bit more about Unlock Infinite Potential as well?
Yes, I'd love to. So, like you said, I'm Faye Louise Hughes. I am a positive psychology coach. So what I do is I help personal brands gain clarity, confidence, and consistency so they can achieve their goals. So Unlock Infinite Potential, it is a coaching company to just help you achieve your goals, help you to achieve your brand goals. And I'll just go into a little bit about what positive psychology is. So positive psychology is the science of well-being, and well-being means how good you feel and how well you function. So positive psychology, it's the science of success, it's the science of happiness, it's the science of high performance. You can basically unlock your infinite potential with positive psychology. But positive psychology, it is different to traditional psychology, whereas traditional psychology, it focuses on the abnormalities, what is wrong with the person, and how to fix the person. And what Martin Seligman figured in 1998 was there was a little bit of a gap in the research. So although psychology was working for most people, it wasn't working for everybody. So for everybody nowadays, we're suffering a lot with anxiety, and that is due to social media. So what he wanted to do, he wanted to help the people who were functioning, but weren't yet functioning well or to their infinite potential. So that is what I do in Unlock Infinite Potential.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. So I know when we spoke last as well, you mentioned that there was also quite a direct correlation, isn't there, between making money and positive psychology. So how can we kind of enhance our money making skills? Because I mean, at the end of the day, isn't money what runs the world? Do you know what I mean? And people that say, "Oh, I'm not interested in money," you are. At the end of the day, everyone's interested in money. And if you didn't have money, you'd be living on the streets. Do you know what I mean? So money does make the world go around. So what's the kind of that correlation between positive psychology and making more money, and how can we go about like earning that dollar?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people do say, oh, I'm not too bothered about the money. But like you said, money does make the world go round. So a lot of the benefits of having a high level well-being are that you actually earn more money. And the reasons to why this is because when you have a high level well-being, you are more productive, you've got more energy, so you're getting more things done. You are more liked by more people, which means that people are attracted to you. You are feeling good, you're feeling happy. And emotions, studies show emotions are contagious. So if you are being high vibe and you've got this positive energy, people want to be around that. So you'll just attract more clients if you're in business. So therefore, you're going to earn more money. When you've got a high level well-being, you are also more optimistic. So you say yes to more things. So maybe you'll say yes to a podcast like this. You'll say yes to doing a live Instagram. You'll say yes to maybe going to a networking event. So therefore, you're getting your name out, you're speaking to new people, and you're going to earn more money. You are also healthier when you've got a high level well-being. So you take less sick days, therefore you earn more money. You are also more confident. So you will show up more, maybe you'll be on your Instagram stories more, you'll just be shouting from the rooftops what you do to get more clients. So therefore you earn more money. There's also benefits that you are more resilient. So when you do face on with a challenge or a setback, you bounce back so much quicker than maybe someone who hasn't got the high level well-being. So honestly, there's so many benefits, and you can see how that these benefits then do allow you to make more money.
That is so fascinating as well, because I followed Denise Duffield Thomas for a while. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's an Australian money mindset coach, and I speak about her quite a lot on here because I'm part of the Money Bootcamp as well. And she always states, your face is your fortune. And I think that fits in perfectly with what you've just said, because I know for a fact that I can put on Instagram, for example, like pictures of candles or crystals, and they'll get a few likes. The second I show my face and how passionate I am about them and how enthusiastic I am about my own brand and my products and things, they sell. They sell so much as well. And I think it's to do with, I always come back to your face is your fortune. And I think it's what you said there about being positive and having that high vibe. And then others kind of buy into you as well, don't they?
100%. And I think as well, especially after COVID, having relationships are more important than ever. People crave relationships and people want to be around other people, because we went through that period of time where we weren't able to meet up with people. We weren't able to be around other people. So yeah, I can 100% see that. And people love to know people's story. People are nosy. People want to know what you're up to as well. So it's incredible. You definitely need to show yourself. If you are a personal brand, 100% you need to show yourself a little bit more than you should.
I agree 100%. I think getting on TikTok was probably the biggest thing for me, because initially when I first joined TikTok, I thought, oh, it's just little teenage girls like doing dances and things like that. But TikTok has evolved so much in the last couple of years, especially. And I think you're right, going through COVID, people wanted to feel connected to other people. So by going on TikTok, people were connected to me And as soon as I showed my face on camera, people were like, oh, your story's actually really inspiring. And we'd like more videos of you with your backstory and explaining things. And like I say, I could put on a video of a crystal and it would get a few likes. I could put a video of me holding a crystal talking about it and it would get thousands. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like getting yourself out there, and it's getting over that fear, isn't it, of actually putting yourself out there.
No, exactly. And the thing is as well, so emotions are contagious.
Yeah.
So if you're watching somebody who is high vibe, after it, you are going to feel the high vibe as well. And it's the same thing, unfortunately, if you are watching something that is giving you negative emotions, you will then feel the negative emotions as well. So I always like to chat to my clients about it. You need to prime yourself with positive emotions, because what you're showing on your Instagram is what people are going to feel.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Everything you're speaking there, it's just like you're taking it straight out of my mind. So can we touch on the law of attraction? Because I've been following you for a while, and I know on your Instagram that you're a big believer of the law of attraction. So what I want to know is, how does positive psychology kind of fit into the concepts of the law of attraction, and how can we maximize our manifestations through positive psychology?
Yeah, so I absolutely love being spiritual. And actually, my biggest strength in positive psychology is spirituality. So there's an assessment that people can do. It's called VIA Character. I'll give you the link.
Oh, I was going to say, if you pass me the link, I'll put that in the show notes as well.
So spirituality is different for everybody. So spirituality, it could be the search for sacred, knowing that there's a reality bigger than oneself. You could see your work as your calling, or you could see the fact that you've had children as a blessing. There is so many things that you can see as spirituality. And another thing as well, you can do lots of things for spirituality. So this could be meditation, this could be visualization, this could just be being present. And there's so many benefits, amazing benefits to being spiritual. And the thing is, the benefits of being spiritual and being religious are almost identical. So you actually live longer, you are actually more happier, you're actually healthier, you are also, you have a better well-being as well. So there's so many amazing benefits to being spiritual. And if you think about it, I don't know about your nan, but my nan was very religious. She was from Ireland. She would go to church every single Sunday, and she would pray to God and ask for whatever she needed to. If she had lost something, she would pray to Saint Anthony. And that's basically the same as what we do as being spiritual. We'll sometimes meditate and we'll manifest something. We'll do a visualization to manifest something, which is just the same as what they were praying. Was your family, your grandparents, religious?
I don't think my nana and my granddad were, but however, my auntie is very religious, and she kind of dragged my mum into that. So I used to go to Sunday school every Sunday, for example, and learn about all the different Bible studies and things like that. And it never really stuck, and I never really had any interest in it, if that makes sense. But I always thought that there was something bigger than me, and I wasn't naive enough to think that it just ends here. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely something bigger than us and bigger than Earth. And I mean, all the universes in like space and stuff like that. There's got to be more than just us. So there is a bigger power out there, but I don't believe in God or Jesus as such. Do you?
No, I'm the same. I did used to go to church with my nan on a Sunday, but I think I just went just to keep my nan company because she was the cutest little lady.
Bless you.
But I also believe that there is something bigger than myself. I do strongly believe that the universe always has my back. And the thing as well, when you are spiritual and you do believe that there is something bigger, you put a lot of trust into that thing, and that helps a lot with stresses. So people who are more spiritual actually cope better with stress, they're more resilient. as well, which is just incredible.
Something that you said there, I just wanted to quickly touch on as well, because you mentioned there that people that find spirituality tend to be a lot happier and things like that. And that is so true as well, because a lot of the messages that I get are from people that are really anxious or they're really depressed and they feel like they've got no purpose or no meaning in life, and they don't feel like they have an identity almost. And it's kind of like they're reaching out to me for a little bit of hope. And then as soon as I
Mm.
introduce them into crystal healing or something like that, it kind of makes them feel connected. And by feeling connected, it's given them a little bit of purpose. And as soon as they kind of like, as soon as they get on with their spiritual journey, it's almost like you see a switch. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh my God, they're a lot happier now. And then they'll message me in a few weeks' time and they'll be like, I'm so much happier now because I've kind of started on my spiritual journey. It's weird, isn't it? Because it's clearly helping people. And it's just, like I say, it's just giving someone purpose and meaning and kind of empowering them, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And that's so funny you say that because for a lot of people, and studies show this, that a lot of people come into spirituality because they have encountered a tragic incident or some kind of trauma. And for me personally, I went through a little bit of trauma that I told you about last week that in Australia, like a lot of people in COVID, I wasn't able to work for 7 months. And just because of COVID, I didn't have the visa that I wanted to be on, and I couldn't leave Australia at the time because the borders were shut, and I wouldn't have known when would be allowed back in Australia. And it was getting to a point where I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to go home back to England, leave my incredible life in Australia. And it was getting to that point. And I came across Law of Attraction Fran's podcast, and she was doing the book, the magic. And I'd already started my spirituality journey because I started that during that 7 months, because I didn't have a lot of other things to be doing. I was just reading a lot and listening to a lot of podcasts. And yeah, I started meditating and journaling and everything. And I was enjoying it so much. So yeah, I was about to come home with my boyfriend and I started reading The Magic. And my intention for the book was to get a new visa. And I kid you not, on the 28th day, and I do not know how this happened, 28th day, I got this visa where I was able to work again and just get my life back. And honestly, it was the most life-changing moment because I was about to pack my bags with my boyfriend and go back to the UK. So it was just absolutely incredible. But
That is incredible how it's worked out as well, because obviously, for those that don't know and haven't read The Magic is a 28-day process where you've got to think of things to be grateful for every single day, but it gives you a different task, doesn't it? So one day it's like feeling grateful for your health, and it's feeling grateful for your money and stuff like that. And people always report that when they get to the end of this 28-day process, something magical really, really happens for them. And that's just amazing. That's really tied in. I've got goosebumps for you.
yeah, it was absolutely incredible. And that's another thing as well. Gratitude is a part of positive psychology. There's so many benefits to gratitude. And what they say though, because I know a lot of people force it in the morning, positive psychology actually shows that if it is feeling forceful and it is feeling maybe a little bit boring for you, you should actually mix it up because it won't be working. If you've got resistance to it, it's not working. So they say mix it up. So instead of writing maybe, I know in The Magic, it's write 10 things you're grateful for and the reason why. So I like to just write 3 things I'm grateful for and the reason why. But if I'm not wanting to do that, instead what I'll do is I'll just go on a rampage and I'll just look around my house and just think of everything I'm grateful for. And you'd think that I would be doing that so I would spend less time doing it. But I'd actually end up like writing like another page and another page and another page because you just get into the flow, you get more excited. And benefits of being grateful and practicing gratitude every day, again, you're happier, you're healthier, you're actually more energetic as well, which is absolutely incredible. Like we all want to have more energy throughout the day. Also as well, so when we are practicing gratitude, we tend to not look what other people are up to as much. So we actually, we're less envious of, say, for instance, the Mr. Jones or something, because we're just looking at what we've got in front of us, and we're more grateful for what we've got in front of us.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something there, isn't there, about like focusing on yourself rather than being worried about focusing on others and being envious or jealous of others. I think Fran even said in her podcast interview last week, she was talking about how if you're jealous of something, there's clearly something there, and that's kind of what you should be reaching into, because that's probably you're probably jealous because you want it yourself, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's definitely something there, isn't there? So
Yeah.
how can we go about unlocking kind of our biggest potential? Is there some kind of positive psychology intervention values or anything like that? What can we do to kind of unlock that biggest potential within ourselves?
Yes, so Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, what he identified with newer research is there is 6 pillars that you need to have in your life to unlock your infinite potential. So the first one, so the framework is called PERMA, and the first one is positive emotions. You need to be feeling positive emotions in your life, whether this is joy, excitement, gratitude. And positive emotions, they don't just make you smile, they actually make you thrive. You are actually 30% more productive when you are in a positive state, which is just incredible. The next one is engagement. You need to be engaged in your life. So, to be engaged, you could be working on your strengths. And a lot of people actually don't know what their strengths are. And if people go onto that website that I mentioned earlier, which you're going to link in the show notes, the VIA character strengths, they will learn more about the strengths. So, like I said, my top one was spirituality. My second one is love of learning. And when you are engaged in your strengths, you actually are more energized. So when you're working with your strengths, you come away more energized. That's why I have to be careful reading before bed, because it makes me energized and I'm just so excited. And so, yeah, making sure that you are engaged in your life. Another thing as well is you need positive relationships. We need relationships to thrive in life. And like I said, emotions are contagious. So you do need to be careful who you're hanging around with and how you are portraying yourself as well, because you don't want to be passing on negative emotions to anybody else. The fourth thing is meaning. You need to have meaning in your life. So this is maybe having a purpose. Your purpose is a goal that you're always working on, using your strengths to maybe help other people. And meaning as well, it can be always on this self-development journey and just always bettering yourself. So that's another amazing thing that we need to have in our life. The fifth thing is we need to feel accomplished. We need to be achieving goals, and we need to adapt a growth mindset. So, a growth mindset is when we see challenges and we see setbacks is just opportunities to grow and learn. So we are born with a certain amount of talent and intelligence, but we know when we put in time and we practice that we can then better whatever we are wanting to better. And the sixth thing that we need in our life to unlock our infinite potential is health. We need to look after our health. Our health is a priority, like the foundation of having a high level well-being. You need to have enough sleep and you need to be eating the right food. You can have a little binge here and there, but make sure you are also eating the right food. Another thing as well, you need to be moving your body and not just sitting in all the time, which as entrepreneurs we tend to do a lot of. And also, we need to restore. We need to make sure we're restoring our body as entrepreneurs and even anybody in life now. Like, life is so busy and we don't tend to pause and allow ourselves just to chill and just sit back. So we need to make sure that we're allowing ourselves to our bodies to restore.
It's so interesting hearing about those like core values of like positive psychology interventions as well, because I've worked in mental health for oh, was it 9 years? I think it was. And while I was working in mental health, I was directly working with like service users at a recovery college, which is where basically people came to kind of be apart from their diagnosis. So they were doing like well-being courses and things like that. And I was helping to deliver those and build on those. Um, and basically we had a word which we called chime, so CHIME, and it was feeling connected, so being part of a community. The H was for hope, so having hope for a better day tomorrow. The I was for identity, so having an identity away from their diagnoses. The M was for meaning, so for them to have meaning and purpose and joy in their life, to actually feel as though they were part of something bigger. And the E was for empowerment, to empower them to a bigger place. So what I used to do is when we would run courses and things within the NHS, we would get one of the service users to run it with us. And that gave them all of those kind of that empowerment and that meaning and that identity, so that they were kind of assisting the running of the course as a service user. So it's very interesting because as you were reading out those core values, I was kind of comparing them to the chime factors that we called them in the
Yeah.
NHS.
That is lovely, especially how you were getting one of the service users to actually help and actually run the course as well. Oh my God, that's so lovely.
Yeah, it really used to empower them and really give them like an identity away from their diagnoses. Because a lot of the time, when someone is diagnosed with, I don't know, like bipolar or schizophrenia and things like that, they would literally shut down. You know as well as I do, like as soon as someone's given a diagnosis like that, they are shutting down their body and they're just like, okay, this is me and I'm boxed off and nobody cares about me and nobody thinks that I'm any better than this diagnosis. But by giving them kind of an identity away from that, it was enabling them to open up and be a different person.
Wow, that is incredible. And you know, you've just said that actually. So I have been working alongside psychologists and I've been working in a psych rehab. So this is for people who would have had a diagnosis like what you have just said, and they would have had maybe a couple of months with a psychologist. And then after that, what happens is they would do a positive psychology course because that's what's going to help them to improve their well-being. Because like I said, psychology alone doesn't work. That's what Martin Seligman, the founder, has noticed. Psychology alone doesn't work, and it is looking after your well-being. Having meaning is a huge drive for motivation as well. And I think as well, starting a business, and know for business startups at the start, it's so exciting to have your own business and things go really well. But if you've got a business and it's not aligned with your meaning or with your purpose, so you won't have the motivation to follow through if you haven't got that meaning or purpose.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. So, can we talk about the power of belief? Because obviously there are positive and negative beliefs in life. So, what kind of impact do these have on us on a day-to-day basis? And what what impact do they have kind of in our belief system as such?
So, in positive psychology, we're not just wanting to be positive all the time because that would be positive toxicity. We are wanting to address the negative as well as the positive. So, with positive thoughts, our brain actually doesn't understand the right from wrong. So, if we are able to feel the negative, so for example, what I like to do every morning is I ask myself, how do I feel today? And I'll be honest with myself. Am I tired? Do I feel maybe a little bit flat today, or am I feeling absolutely incredible? And for the days where I'm writing down like I am tired, I'll then ask myself, how do I want to feel today? And then I'll write down that I want to feel energized, I want to feel happy, I want to feel productive. And then from there, I will say, what do I need to do to feel like this? And then I'll say, maybe I need to do a little walk to the beach. Maybe I need to do a HIIT workout instead of weight training. Maybe I need to have a longer cold shower than normal because cold showers, there's so many more benefits for having a cold shower as well. You you are able to address stressful situations better, and it actually decreases anxiety and depression. So negative emotions and negative beliefs aren't bad, but we don't want to focus on the negative beliefs. We want to focus on what we want and what we're good at.
So do you do a lot of visualization then? Do you like have any mood boards or anything? Like, is visualization a part of positive psychology, or is that seen as like an alternative?
Visualization is huge in positive psychology. And what we want to do is we want to focus on what is going well and what we want rather than focusing on the obstacles in the way. And the benefit of visualization and looking at your vision is that you are improving your levels of hope, you're improving your levels of optimism, you also improve your mood and your well-being as well.
So have you got any tips for visualizing? Because when I tend to do it, I would just sit down and meditate. Is that the right way to do it? Or do you think it's best to be like doing it last thing before bed, lying in bed at night? Or do you have to have certain sounds on? Or can you just visualize wherever you are?
So I follow a woman. She's an empowerment psychologist. She's called Jay Ray, and what she says is you should visualize first thing in the morning, because when you wake up, you go in a state which is called theta state. So this is the best time for you to visualize and actually set your intentions. And you can actually put yourself in this theta state by going into a meditative state. So taking really deep breaths, long deep breaths in and long deep breaths out, and you can put yourself into the visualization. I love to do visualization ones from YouTube, and there's a positive psychology intervention which is the best possible self, which we could maybe do at the end of the podcast if you're happy with that.
Yeah,
But you can
100%.
also find things on YouTube which is your higher self. And yeah, you can do both things. You can either do the guided visualizations, or you can just meditate on your own and think about what do you want in your life? What are you trying to visualize? What do you want to feel, and what do you want in your life?
Well, there's something else for me to add to my morning list. I've already got my gratitude list, my meditation. Now I'm going to be visualizing as well. So also something else I do on a morning as well is I've recently started journaling. I did a podcast episode on this last week about future you journaling. So kind of journaling about the person that you want to become. And in turn, that kind of empowers you to get there quicker and to find out the little steps in between so that you can hit those goals. So what effect does journaling have on positive psychology? Is that something that's kind of introduced in positive psychology? Because obviously it's going to help you, isn't it? Like have an outlook and hope for the future.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this will relate into the best possible self intervention that I may do later. So, when you are visualizing and when you are journaling about what you are going to be doing, what you're going to achieve, you actually do raise your levels of hope and raise your levels of optimism. And I've actually just read the book Positively Wealthy. I don't know if you have read that, but basically in the book, she said in the future, you can either choose fear or faith about something. Both things haven't happened, so it's your choice whether you choose faith or fear. And that's the same in positive psychology. You are just choosing whether you want to feel the fear, or you want to have faith and write down everything that's going to go well in your life.
Yeah, I've read Positively Wealthy actually, and funnily enough, I was just speaking to Emma Mumford, the author, yesterday. It's really
Oh
weird.
my
So
God, amazing.
I'm going to try and get her on the podcast because I think she's got a wealth of knowledge, and she has her own podcast as well called Spiritual Badass. Well,
Yes,
Spiritual Queen. Is it Spiritual Queen's Badass Podcast? I think it's called.
I
But
think so.
yeah, she's really, really knowledgeable and things. So I've been talking to her quite a lot lately. So I'm going to basically try and get her on the podcast and try and
Oh my
suck
God,
a
I'm
dry of
manifesting that
information.
for you.
Yeah. So can I also talk about something that I've gone through in the past as well? Because I'm sure it was part of a positive psychology course that I did. But it's something called laughter yoga. And I don't know if you've heard of this, but oh my God, it is such a weird sensation. And if anyone doesn't know about laughter yoga, get yourself on YouTube, just type in laughter yoga. It's not yoga as such, like where you're doing loads of moves or anything like that. it's a weird thing. So there was about 20 of us in the room. A lot of the people in the room were directors and leaders in the NHS. And then there was little old me sat amongst them. And we had to basically, one by one, go around and shake people's hands. And as we shook their hand, we had to imagine there was a gadget in our palm of our hands that was going to give the other person an electric shock. And as we touched them, this really sounds odd if you're listening to this. As we touched them and shook their hands, we kind of had to pretend that we were getting an electric shock, and we had to immediately pull our hands backwards and be like, oh, and laugh. And in turn, it actually makes you physically laugh. And there was something about how it released endorphins within your body, because your mind doesn't know if you're laughing for real or if you're just, it's like, put on a happy face kind of thing and just grin, and eventually you feel happy. It's that kind of same scenario, isn't it? But we were basically made to go around the room one by one, pointing at each other and laughing in our faces. And within 30 seconds, everyone was in hysterics. I had tears coming down my face with laughter. I had such a sore stomach at the end of it, like my non-existent abs were aching. So what's kind of the effect of that on positive psychology? Because obviously, like I said, even when you grin, you're putting on a happy face, aren't you? So you're kind of letting your body know that you're happy. So is that releasing endorphins into the body and all the serotonin and all that good stuff?
Yeah, and like you said, like you don't even need to be knowing what you're laughing at. And I think it's the fact that the laughing yoga, it's got a few yoga moves in it as well, but you just don't know what you're going to be laughing at. But it's because emotions are so contagious. When somebody starts laughing, then somebody else will laugh as well. And it just releases the good feelings in your brain, which then, yeah, it's contagious, and other people will feel that as well. And that's so funny that you say that, because in Australia they do that a lot. I work with psychologists, and they were talking about that they do it a lot. So that's so funny that you said
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I just thought it was a UK thing. Well, to be honest, I'd
that.
never heard of it. And when it was introduced into the NHS, I was like, what are they introducing now? Because they do have a few like wacky little classes and like exercises and workshops and stuff. But when I Googled it and like I brought it up on YouTube, I thought it was an American thing because there's a lot of American people doing it. So yeah, Faye, what are your top manifestation tips then? So what can you do to get yourself in that high vibrant state to ultimately manifest your best life?
So my top manifestation tips is putting myself in a high vibe. So the way that I would do this, I actually just sent my email list this email, but I gave them 5 tips. So the first thing is to exercise first thing in the morning. So whilst exercising in the evening is better than not exercising at all, you're basically sleeping through the endorphins, and you're basically sleeping through your good mood. So I always say exercise in the morning, because you're just going to be in a good mood for the day, and then you're going to raise your vibration. Another thing as well from a neuroscientist is that you should get out first thing in the morning when the sun is still low, to reset your circadian rhythm. Because what this does, it's your internal body clock, your 24-hour body clock. And from this, you're going to have an improved mood, you're going to have improved focus, you're going to be more awake during the day, and it also puts you into a appropriate sleeping pattern. Another thing as well to raise your vibration, as I said before, cold showers are incredible. I don't know if you do cold showers, but they're not the nicest things. But when you get in there, you've just got this massive shock, and you've got to concentrate on your breathing, and you literally forget about whatever's happened during the day, because you have to just focus on your breathing. And yeah, there's so many benefits. It helps with your stress response, and it helps reduce anxiety and depression. So that would be the third thing. And the fourth thing, what I would say as well, is make sure you get enough sleep to keep your vibration high. And even if you lose just 90 minutes of sleep, you actually lose a third of your focus. And also, this relates as well to your mood. So if you're not getting enough sleep, your mood is really, really impacted. Another thing to raise your vibration would be listening to maybe a podcast, maybe your podcast, maybe
Always.
any podcast, always your podcast, a podcast that's going to make you laugh, because we've already mentioned this, positive emotions, and any emotions are contagious. So that's what I would do to raise your vibration. From that, I would visualize what you want. Get really clear with how you're going to feel from this, and just get really clear and picture the whole thing. And then from here, I would take action. So this is in the law of attraction, to take action, but also in positive psychology to improve your confidence. One positive psychology exercise is to write something down, write your next step down, and then take action. And over time, from when you are taking action, turning your thoughts into actions, you're actually improving your confidence as well.
Great tips. Do you deal with crystals at all? Because I always think that like crystals are the best way for me to raise my vibes. So have you had any experience with crystals, any moldavite or anything like that?
Yes. Do you know what? You are the reason why I've got molded. Like, I heard you on a podcast speaking with Fran, and I heard Fran say, "Oh no, get that away from me." And I was thinking, oh my God, I need to look more into it. So yeah, I do have moldavite. And you know what's so funny? So I got moldavite, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And it's the stone of transformation, and it brings positive experiences in
Yes.
a fast-paced manner.
Yes, that's right.
So I got the Moldavite, and I think within a week, my wisdom teeth started coming through.
Oh my
And I went to
God.
the dentist, and they said you have to have all of your wisdom teeth out. And at the time, I was absolutely distraught. But honestly, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because now I know that and now I did have to delay my business launch. That was the only thing. But I feel like it was the universe saying, no, Faye, like take your wisdom teeth out now, because your business is going to be booming, and you're not going to have the time again to be able to take time off and get them out.
Exactly that. I think it's obviously happened for a reason, hasn't it? Or you're going to obviously launch your business with something extra that you'll have learned in this little space that you've like got between now and the physical launch. So I think everything like that happens for a reason as well. One thing I will say is just be very careful, because 6 people now that have bought Moldavite from me have been going through IVF and stuff like that, and they have fell pregnant naturally. So be very, very careful if you
Oh
don't want a
my
baby.
God.
But we're on
Yeah,
to our
no,
6th Canny Crystal baby.
that is incredible. Oh my God. I definitely don't want to be for myself yet, but that is amazing. How incredible.
I think it's just obviously Moldavite kind of speeds up like space and time, and I think what it's done is it's just kind of accelerated them into the fact that they were eventually going to have a baby, so why not have a baby now? You know how the universe delivers, do you know what I mean?
I love that. So why are people so afraid of Moldavite?
I think obviously because it accelerates time, people. Well, there was this one video that did its rounds on TikTok back in 2019. It was just before the pandemic, and a girl had bought Moldavite, and she was on TikTok crying her eyes out, saying she bought Moldavite, and 2 weeks later, she lost her job. Her boyfriend cheated on her. She had to move out of the family home. She had to move back with her mum, and basically, she had nothing. And everyone said, "Oh my God, Moldavite is evil. It's come from outer space." They were just totally misinformed. And obviously, it's caused by the impact of the meteor. It's not part of the meteor. It's the impact from the meteor that caused like this glass-like substance to fly up in the air. And when it came back down, and smashed into a million pieces. And that's what's mined. But basically, a month later, I think it was, or it might have been a couple of months later, she went back on TikTok and she said, "Oh my God, I've got the job of my dreams. I've met a gorgeous man. He's absolutely beautiful. He's the love of my life. We've only been together a couple of months." And it was like her life had flipped upside down. But if you look, that video's got something like 1 million views on it. The one of her terrifying people about the Moldavite has like 30 million views. Do you know what I mean? So people have obviously seen the terrified like state that she was in and how she was in hysterics, but they've not seen the end result. And yes, it might flip your life upside down because Moldavite does do that. It accelerates you. Like I've said on this podcast a few times, I bought my own Moldavite, I think in January, and that's when I started selling it on Canny Crystals as well. And from January to the March, that's when I realized I'm going to leave the NHS. By the end of March, when was my birthday, I'd only been in business with Canny Crystals for a year, and I handed my notice in. 2 months later, I'm looking at office space and stuff like that. The month after that, I had my £30,000 month. My podcast went to number 1 in the UK for spirituality and self-development. And now I'm sat here in my office looking around, and I've probably got 40 to £50,000 worth of stock around me. And that all came from just £200 that I started the company on. And I believe that I've been accelerated because of my Moldavite.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. Yeah, you are the reason why I bought the Moldavite. And I actually listened to your podcast, which was quite recent, about how you manifested with the Moldavite. And as well, I love that you said that you changed all of your passwords to like 30k. You said that obviously you put loads of digits in it and loads of symbols so nobody could rob your password.
Yeah.
But you said that you changed everything, which was absolutely incredible. That's what I've not actually done. So maybe I need to change my passwords.
That's a Denise Duffield Thomas trick. So basically, she tells you to change your password to whatever you want because you're putting your password in multiple times a day, especially on your iPhone or your Android or whatever it is that you have. But basically, you're putting that number in time and time again. So subconsciously, that figure is going into your brain. And I think that's what helps like kind of anchor you back to your manifestations and what you actually want from life. So going back to positive psychology, is there kind of an exercise that we can do at home to bring out our best possible self?
Yes, I would love to take you all through a visualization if that's okay for you.
Absolutely. Fire away.
Unreal. So, yes, so I would love to take you through my favorite positive psychology intervention, which is the best possible self. So, it's actually a written exercise where you connect in with your best possible self. And this is who you want to be. This is what your best future self does. And this can be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever feels right for you. And what I would want you to do then is grab your journal and just write for 20 minutes what comes up for you. So what I'll do first is I'll take everyone through a visualization, and then after the visualization, this is when I invite you to journal everything that comes up. And after the visualization, you might find when you're journaling that more things comes up as well. So what I'd love you to do then is, if making sure nobody's driving. If you're driving, pause and come back to it. But I'd love you to get comfy and I'd love you to close your eyes. I love to put my palms facing up, and yeah, just sit nice and straight, your back straight. So with your eyes closed, just close them nice and gently. I want you to take 3 deep breaths in. So we'll take a deep breath in and breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And I want you to keep your eyes closed. And I want you to connect in with the vision of your future self. And this can be your choice of whether it's in 1 year, 2 years, 3 or 5. Just anything that feels true for you. And I want you to imagine that everything has gone as well as it possibly could. Everything you desire has manifested. And you are in a place where you can celebrate. And I want you to feel into those positive emotions. I want you to connect in with where you're waking up. Where are you? What country are you in? Are you at home? Or have you moved? Are you abroad? Are you in a different country? How are you waking up? Do you have an alarm? or are you waking up naturally? How do you feel as your best possible self waking up? And I want you to really build in the picture now and set the scene of what you are doing. And I want you to think about your morning routine. What are you doing? Do you meditate straight away? Do you then journal? Do you read in the morning? Does your best possible self work out and exercise first thing? Do you have cold showers? Now I want you to tune in with who you're going to spend the day with. Who are you surrounded with when you are your best possible self? Is it with family or is it with friends? Do you see yourself in front of a huge audience serving a community with a really powerful message? Are you laughing? Are you joking? How do you feel right now as your best possible self? And what are you wearing? How is your hair styled? How are you feeling right now? Because it's the feeling here that we really want to connect with. This is what's really important. So what are the positive emotions you're feeling right now? Do you feel joy? Is it gratitude, pride, excitement? Are you working? Do you work? What are you doing for work? How are you helping people? What are you creating? And how does this make you feel? What things do you own as your best possible self? Do you own material items? What are they? What do you use every day? What is your physical environment? Do you see the cars that you own? Do you see houses that you own? And just build up that picture. Build it up all together, everything that we've gone through. Where are you? How do you feel? Who are you surrounded by? And listen to the sounds. Can you hear laughter? Can you hear shouting? Can you hear celebrating? Just want to ask you, how are you feeling? And just imagine these positive emotions getting bigger and stronger and overflowing. And now with this vision and feelings, I want to tell you that these are available for you. So hold this vision and start thinking about coming back to the present. Make yourself aware of your surroundings, and I want you to take some deep breaths in, and then we can open our eyes to breathe in and then breathe out. And then what I'd love you to do is grab your journal and write down everything that came through for you. And what we like to do in positive psychology, in this intervention, we say spend the next 20 minutes. So put an alarm clock on, switch off all distractions, and just go with the flow and see what happens, see what you write. Maybe you're figuring out other things that happen for your best possible self instead of the things that happened in your visualization.
Wow, thank you so much. That was so powerful. I just love visualizations like that because it's just a moment of serenity, isn't it? And calm and peaceful. And not that I'm not like that here in my office anyway, but it's just nice. I was transported to a beach abroad and I had my own little house and my partner and my dog were there, and I could just see myself like chucking like sticks and the balls towards the sea for the dog, and he was running around and barking all excited and wagging his tail. And for me, that is happiness, like seeing other people and other things happy, seeing my dog and my partner happy, like are the two most important things to me. So I think that visualization was so powerful. So as soon as we come off here, I'm actually going to do that again and re-listen to it and actually get my journal and physically do that as well. Thank you so much for that, Faye. I really love that.
Oh, you're so welcome. Do you know what? I'd be keen to see what your VIA character strengths come through. I feel like your top one could be love, because you as well, you love to see other people happy. You like to see other people just, feeling really, really happy. So
Yeah, I'll do it and I'll let you know, because as soon as you send that link through, like I say, I will put the VIA link into the show notes as well, but I'll also do it and I'll send you my profile and then you can like psychoanalyze me. So Faye, is there anything that you'd like to talk about? Anything that you'd like to plug? Any events or anything that you've got coming up?
Yes, so I do have a challenge coming up in October. So it's a 3-day challenge. It's a clarity challenge. And basically, what we'll be doing is we'll be finding your why and getting you unstuck. So if you follow my Instagram, it's Unlock Infinite Potential. You'll get all the updates of when I release the challenge, and you'll be able to sign up for that.
So, Faye, thank you so much. And like I say, what I will do is I will put all of Faye's details, including her website and her Instagram link, into the show notes below. So, Faye, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this episode. Thanks for being a guest.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Mark. I absolutely loved it. I love chatting to you. So thank you so much. And I'm so excited to continue manifesting with my crystals. I'm so thankful for you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have purchased the More device. So thank you so much. And as well, because of you, I now carry around all of my crystals, because I used to keep them in my office, but now I carry them around. I make sure they're in my pocket, and yeah, I just carry them around, which I love.
You're going to become the crazy crystal lady just like me. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, though, is there? Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much. And for anyone else, like I say, that wants to hear about Faye Louise Hughes or Unlock Infinite Potential, you can do so by clicking the links in the show notes. I guess there's nothing else left for me to say today other than, please, if you have enjoyed this episode, please leave a review wherever you're listening from. It's free for you to do so. It takes 5 or 10 seconds, but it really does help this podcast to get pushed out to other people if it goes higher in the charts. So thank you all so much, and I hope to see you all again next Friday for another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. Thanks very much, guys. Bye. Come and join me in the Manifest with Mart community. For just £10 a month, you'll get exclusive access to my app, and you'll join all the other beautiful souls in the Canny community, where each day you'll be held accountable to making your dreams and desires come to fruition. You'll also be set daily and weekly challenges. There's a chat room built in so you can talk to people in real time, and you can also pop over any questions that you have in the Q&A forum, and I'll answer them for you. It's changing people's lives, and we've already had so many people manifesting things in the first 2 weeks alone. Each new moon, I'll also be going live within the group on a face-to-face video to help you get the most out of the lunar cycles, as well as answer any burning questions that you have. And these live meetups are so powerful, and everyone in the group has had nothing but praise for the safe space that we share. There are very limited spaces for this community, however, just to ensure that I can place my focus on you and nurture you into the ultimate manifester. So if you'd like a spot, please be quick and reserve your seat now. Head to cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk and choose the Manifest with Mart option, where you can get instant access, and what's more, you'll also get access to all of the past recordings and chats too. Join now and start living the life of your dreams.